in this one.
All right, so this was the game, what I like to call the triangle. The triangle is the aggressive, almost attacking midfield play of Bellingham, who he played very aggressively and very advanced in this game. Then you got Vinny on the left, and you've got Mbappe on the center. But Vinny and Mbappe were swapping places, and they were overloading the right side of the defense of Barcelona, which caused a lot of trouble. Then you don't have missing Dani Olmo also hurt Barcelona. So what you saw in this game was that it was a close game. It was a tactical game in which Real Madrid controlled not that they controlled the midfield, but they were very aggressive in the midfield. And the combination of Vinny and Bellingham and what's his name was just a little bit too much. They even could have scored more goals. There was a lot of offside. We know that Mbappe. We know that Barcelona uses a high press, but that wasn't really the real issue. But what was surprising about that game was Barcelona, because they didn't have Olmo and because they don't have Lewandowski. But
Rafinha,
because they don't have them, they weren't be able to stretch Real Madrid's offense. So even the goal that they scored was very tight. Did you see that first goal of Falabi?
Yes, I did.
They had to make very good use of tight space. They didn't have as much space as they usually have because of those injuries, and then also with the fact that they weren't able to really answer the combination, like you said, of Vinny, Mbappe, and Bellingham. Very good play by Barcelona. By Real Madrid, because Real Madrid didn't try to really stretch them. They used tactics with those three players, and the difference in this game was Bellingham with an assist and a goal. What are your thoughts, Mr. Warif?
Yeah, I watched almost part of the second half. You see, whenever it comes to Madrid, what's it called, Barca, it's like a war zone. Now, in that, like what you said, what's it called, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. and Bellingham, they really pressed. In short, Madrid, they were on the face of the Barcelona. They didn't give them that breathing space. They were just all at them. Even when they remove Vinicius Jr., you see that towards the end of the game, the tempo now reduced. And again, for what's it called, Barca, I think they should reduce the pressure on Yamil. Why I say the pressure? The boy is still young, he's still growing. It's not that he's talented. Because they want to put the whole responsibility on him. Mentally, he might not have the mental strength, but it's just that he's talented. So I think they need to reduce the pressure on him. And also, when I noticed that this guy was not there, Rafinha and Olmo, I said, oh, no wonder, because Rafinha is another aggressive player. Yeah. He plays direct football.
Yeah, and that's why they weren't able to create space, because they need him on the left, and he also drifts to center with him and Torres. And they had to put what's his name? Pedri, they had to put him in the midfield, but on the right. That guy, Pedri needs to play a more sort of, sometimes he drifts more to the left, but they have to put him in a position that wasn't natural to him as well. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Wari.
Yeah. Okay. What I wanted to say is this. I think Barcelona, they need to work on their defense. Maybe they need to go into the transfer market, get some more aggressive defenders, because the problem with Barcelona, everybody has known their issue. If you can beat their midfield, just get to the defense, you can crack them down. So I think they need to work on their defense, right?
So I'm going to disagree with you on that one, Mr. Wari. Just like I disagree with you on Arsenal. Okay. I don't think it's the problem with their defense. They're asking too much from their defense with the high press. Those guys can't come back. They've got Kubasi.
They can't return.
So I think it's the press. But I agree. I hear what you say. I think the team needs to figure out either they're going to score 4 or 5 goals a game. Like today, if they had Rafinha, they could have scored goals. If they're going to have to score a lot more goals, or they're going to have to change their offensive system so that they have more protection in the defense. Or maybe they need, also this guy didn't play, Casado. They need a good CDM. What do you think, Mr. Falabi?
Yeah, I think I want to start from where you just finished. I think the main problem here was the use of the high defensive line, which the Barcelona coach likes a lot. Hansi Flick is a freak of the defensive high line. But in this kind of game, having so many of his players out, I mean, look at Rashford. He was playing Rafinha's position. Rashford is very poor in tracking back, and he doesn't press as aggressively as Rafinha. When you're playing this kind of system, you need your forwards to be aggressive. so you can limit the opposition from even coming out. That kind of pressure you would get from Rafinha. Rashford couldn't do that. Also, another problem was their main keeper, Andre ter Stegen, is recovering from surgery, I think. He's better at building the ball from the back because he's good with the feet. Now, because they were playing Szczesny, they had to be playing the ball long from their defense, which played into Real Madrid's hands and basically isolated the orchestrators of the midfield, the likes of Pedri, and also the absence of Olmo and Gavi created a kind of midfield imbalance. Those guys are good at creating, and they make a lot of vertical runs, especially Dani Olmo. So I think the players that were missing really affected Barcelona. And if you look at Young and Pedri, they were overloaded in the midfield areas. And I feel that Xabi Alonso, who is the new Real Madrid coach, has, coach the Real Madrid team to be a bit more defensive. They are not as open as Real Madrid under Ancelotti. So they understood the fact that they play a high line, and they were very, very, clever. As soon as they stepped up, the pace of Vini Jr. and Mbappe, they just kept beating the offside trap and stuff. So I think the guys that were missing, and like Warif said, I don't think the problem with Barcelona defense is the personality. I think it's this persistent use of highline. If you're going to use a highline, you must do it when you have certain players around. With the crop of the players that play today, it was difficult to do it. Rashford doesn't have the skill set to press like Rafinha, and certainly doesn't have the speed to track back when he's beaten.
And you know what happens, Afolabi? If they need to start playing Lewandowski more as a central nine, the reason I say so is then they can move Olmo a little farther back and then have a CDM. You get my point?
Yeah.
Because if they're going to do high press, they need to bring somebody in the midfield back if the defenders are going for it a little bit more back than they usually are. You get what I'm saying? But it's complex. We're not the technicians of football, but we're just seeing what's going on. But Barcelona has nothing to be ashamed of. They're losing to a very good team, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But it seems like now, the cream of the crop in Europe right now are Arsenal and PSG. I think everybody will agree. Those might be the best teams in Europe right now because Arsenal has a good defense. PSG has a fantastic midfield and attack. So Barcelona is still young. And as long as they play this dangerous type of game, they're going to lose out. I don't think they'll lose to Arsenal, but they're going to lose to PSG until they figure this out. But I don't want them to stop doing their high press because it reminds me of the Giga press too. Don't keep it going, man. Keep gambling. What do you think? We have 5 more minutes because Formula One is about to start to.
All right.
Yeah, so F1.
Yeah, definitely. To keep this short, from the match get-go, this game was a Real Madrid game. 2 denied opportunities by VAR. I mean,
they would have scored more goals.
And also. This could have been worse for Real Madrid and for Barcelona. They should also thank Xavi a little bit here and there because he saved the penalty. And there's a couple of shots that were going in, and it could have been an embarrassing score. And the problem here was that Barcelona was just playing into the hands of Real Madrid, especially in the beginning, because they couldn't build up properly. Sometimes they're up front, poor decision making, rotating the ball too much, too many touches into the box. One thing Barcelona sometimes lacks is like that route one football. That's what Real Madrid used. Get the ball to Jude Bellingham, then he can play it out, or get the ball to Camavinga, then he can play it out to Vini. And when you get the ball to Vini, Vini will do something. Or get the ball to Mbappe, Mbappe will do something. That's what you have when you have a team that has individual brilliance as well. They know how to use their individual brilliance in the team.
Yeah, but PK, I'm going to say if Olmo is playing and Casado is playing and some of those other guys, it's going to be a totally different team. They're playing a diminished Barcelona. This is not the Rafinha. Rafinha to me could have won just like Rafinha and Yamal. Both of those are almost equal as far as MVP. He could have won the what you call it. And Olmo might be the most dangerous player in the world. He's the most flexible because Olmo can play midfield, he can play left wing, or he can play false 9. Olmo helped Spain win the European Championship, so they have a lot of injuries. So we're not seeing the real Barcelona yet. That's what I think. What do you think, Afolabi? Then we'll get back to TK on that one.
I think in the future, Hansi Flick has to make his approach a little bit more nuanced. If you want to play your high line thing, it's good, but you can only play it when you have your best players available. I think he should have adapted his tactics to the quality of the opposition and gotten a result today instead of trying to play the same way when clearly the players available were not suited to that. I think going forward he needs to do that. Sometimes you have to tweak the system sometimes.
Yeah, we have more time. The game doesn't start to 4, but so we can talk for another 5 or 10 minutes. Continue your train of thought, TK. Anything else you want to talk about this game?
Yeah,
like I heard you guys talking about rules and stuff. There was something you guys were talking about when I came on. What was that? Or maybe Mr. Warif was talking about something. What were you saying, Mr. Warif?
I was talking about the Premier League and surprises this week.
Premier League, the drama.
So what I'm saying is that as much as we can say we can put in could-haves and should-haves in the game, I say the players that are on the pitch, you have a certain responsibility, and the coach entrusted you with a certain tactic. Unfortunately, they couldn't play out that tactic. Also, Hansi Flick was on the stage. I think he got suspended, right?
Was suspended in the previous game, so he couldn't stay on the bench.
He couldn't stay on the bench. Perhaps if he was on the bench, maybe when a player is down, calls a few two players, hey, listen here. You see, pockets are here, play there. Unfortunately, it's should-haves and could-haves. Real Madrid, on the records, it says Real Madrid beat FC Barcelona.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what they say? Let's say there's somebody that you fight every time and they beat you 10 times. One day you win. So, but Real Madrid won. How many times has Barcelona beat Real Madrid now in this their Clasico?
And they've been abusing them.
Yeah, almost 4 or 5 times in a row.
Yeah, so that's why I say it's like rolling a dice. Okay, one day is for the dog.
It's a law of average. Law of average.
Mbappe can't even score penalty.
Law of averages.
I don't like Mbappe.
Mbappe is too stiff. He's stiff. He's not flexible.
You know what I like to call Mbappe? False 9. Not false 9. False 9.
False 9.
Double false 9.
I'm gonna
double false 9. All right, guys.
The first time he played against Barcelona, he was caught offside almost 7 times. So I think it was more.
Yeah, he just running anyhow.
Yeah, he was running anyhow. But today his running was a bit more effective. He was covering his runs. He timed it perfectly. So I think that affected Barca as well.
Mm-hmm.
Penalty
So because I know that eventually Barca is going to have to lose to Real. I think Real Madrid, this league, they're probably going to win the Spanish league. I don't think they're going to do too great in the Champions League.
Because they've opened up, I think it's a 6 point, or it was, they were already ahead. I think they were on 27 points and Barca was on 22. I think it's an 8-point lead now.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Warif, last thoughts before we head out.
I like what Mr. Falabi said. I can't remember necessarily. When you know that you have some of your major players, 3 of your major players missing, you would have changed your tactics instead of playing the regular tactics. When you're playing this type of game, you might not know when you're playing your normal tactics with some of your players missing, you won't know the lapses, but your opponent will know that, okay, your strength, this is where you have your lapse, and they might take advantage of it. No Olmo, no Rafinha, and one person. So I think that's the advantage of it to counter Barcelona, because when I watched the game, they were always pressing, mostly Vinicius, who was always on them. So I think the coach really need to change the tactics. Don't always play the same type of game when your players are complete. Yeah,
and Real Madrid definitely won this game tactically. And once again, Bellingham, this is like if you remember last year where people were saying Bellingham is Balloon d'Or. Remember that? He's like that type of player. Right?
Yeah.
He's aggressive. I don't even know why they call Bellingham is he supposed to be is he technically a defensive midfielder?
You don't really know what he's more of a number 8, but he likes to run the final third.
He reminds me of Musiala. They just do whatever, man. They just right in the middle.
I think he plays a free role in the team. That's just what he.
And I think that was the main difference of the game. And also, he was the center. Because Vinicius can't do it by himself. Vinicius by himself is selfish. But when you have Bellingham as sort of like he's sort of like the general. And he dropped back and played in defense too and played midfield. To me, he's the most valuable player on their team. Yeah. Doesn't mean he's the best player in the world.
Very, very hardworking without the ball.
Yeah, very hardworking. All right, so take us out of Follow Beat for our first episode of Barca Nation. I even said I wasn't going to do this show today because I don't do shows when Barca loses, but we decided to come for our fans anyway. Take us out, I felt like. Also, TK didn't want to do the show, but I had to force him to come. All right, take us out,
yeah, it's been a very brilliant show. Our maiden edition of Barca Nation, and we've been discussing the El Clasico from Mustafa, TK, and myself. We'll be back on the next one.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Nice guys. Very good show. Okay.